This is James Lutton for Round 8 Boxing. I'd like to join with Brad Ray. Brad, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you, mate. All good.
Good.
Cracking up.
Good stuff, mate. Obviously, you've got some positive news finally come about. I want to go back a little bit just to some of the more negative news and just to get from your side of things now. Obviously, looking back in hindsight, you've dealt with these things and how you learn from really. So let's go back to the Saudi fight that fell through. Just obviously the big stage there, Saudi, Turkey Al Sheikh sort of almost taking over boxing at the minute. How devastating was that?
Yeah, mate, I was gutted, mate. I was gutted. Like in my head, when that fight got announced, it was me chance to kind of show people what I've been doing for the past few years and announce myself on that big stage. There would have been so many eyes on me watching. Um, so yeah, mate, like, I was gutted. I was devastated. It was a very bitter pill to swallow, but like it is what it is at the end of the day. It's boxing, I'm not the first fighter it will happen to, and I won't be the last. I just there was no point feeling sorry for myself and getting myself down. I just in my head I had that. I wasn't going to get big notice for these fights because of the position that I was in. I was a little bit, big risk, little reward. No one's going to want to give me a 10-week camp. So in my head, I just had to stay ready for whatever was going to come up. So as hard as it was, mate, I just got myself back in the gym and cracked on and just tried to put it behind me. But it was tough, mate, because I put a lot of time and effort and money into that camp. I felt that was going to be the breakout. That was going to be the point where my career takes a turn for the better after a tough few years. So it was tough, mate. But like I say, mate, it's boxing. It's boxing at the end of the day, and it happens, unfortunately.
I mean, what's been going on? You say this last few years. See, 2022, you lost to Tyler Denny. You've had 6 wins since then, and it's all been on a small hall. And every time I speak to you over the last 3 years, it's like, yeah, yeah, something big's coming. I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Why has it not come till now?
I don't know, mate. To be honest, I think it's a tough one, mate. Like I could sit here and point the finger at different people why not, but at the end of the day, nothing's come off, and there's been times where I've had names thrown at me. I've said yes. I've had a date mentioned. I've started training towards that date, and then the fights fell through. They've picked another opponent, whatever. The promoters, just plenty of shows in Manchester. They were just filling them up with other people. I wasn't getting a look in, and like I've said before, like I feel like I've been a bit hard done by. I feel like it's a bit unjust that I'm not getting a chance on these shows or whatever because like I'm entertaining. I'm the type of fighter that you should want on TV shows. And even in the loss, I feel like I'm entertaining. I put on a show. I feel like if I was a promoter, I'd feel like I want a fighter like me on my shows. As I sell well tickets. As I said, I'm entertaining and just wasn't getting a look in me. And then I'd sit and watch the fights on the TV on the weekend, and I'd think like I'll put on a better show than these kids, and it was frustrating. But look, at the end of the day, mate, it's character building. Like it's character building, and I've said now that I have got a bit of a chip on my shoulder about it. I feel like I've got a point to prove to everyone, and I'm not going to forget this when I win this title, when I pick this title up, and when I've got a bit of weight, and I've got something where people are gonna want to fight me, or they're gonna want. I'm not going to forget like the last few years. Um, but yeah, like you say, mate, it's just boxing. Unfortunately, I could sit here and cry and moan about it, but I've carried on, stayed active, not in with the level of opposition I want to be in at. But what do you want me to do? I have no choice. It's either don't fight, wait for a big fight on a big show, which obviously not coming, or stay busy, lower opposition on these smaller shows, stay active, stay sharp, and although the RJ and have been fighting, I've been dealing with them in a manner which majority of people don't do on the smaller shows. I've been wiping them out 1, 2 rounds. Um, and look, I'm flying at the moment. Confidence is sky high, feeling fit, strong, and I still got 7 weeks to go. Still got 7 weeks to go. And I never thought I'd be in this position where someone's going to give me an 8-week camp notice. I thought we are going to have to be ready a week, 2 weeks, some dropouts. I'm going to step in. So, look, mate, I'm just happy I've got a full camp now, and by the time fight night comes, I'm going to be flying.
Do you think? I know a lot of people say, they want to be in the big fights and you take chances. Obviously, the Tyler Denny fight for you was a big step up in opponent at that time of your career. And it was, I suppose, a 50-50 fight at the time. Does it just show that sometimes, or do you see why some fighters don't take these big fights? Because boxing's so fickle that you've not got a lock in from the promoters or anyone since.
Well, you know what, mate? After the loss, I do see why people do it, and I don't blame these fighters that my name's been put to over the past few years. If they have two like heavyweights put to him, one of them's me, one of them's an easier fight for the same money. They're gonna take the easier fight, aren't they? Because not that they're scared of losing, but they know what can happen if you take a risky fight, as it's happened to me. You know what I mean? Um, and if you would have asked me before the Denny fight, I would have said no. I don't understand what you. As a fighter, I want to test myself. I want to be in the best fights. But after that, I have a different perspective of it, and it's not the fighter's fault. It's not the fighter's fault at all. It's just the way boxing is. Unfortunately, like you say, it is very fickle. The fans, the promoters, and they all make a big deal about a loss. He should want to get in this fight. He should want to be in a tough fight. Don't take easy fights. Then why, if that risk doesn't come off, you know what I mean? Do you get pushed to the side and forgotten about? It's either one or the other. You know what I mean? You can't have both. You can't have fighters. You're wanting them to get in these fights where they're going to test themselves, 50-50 fights, and then when they lose, they just hype job, the rubbish. You know what I mean? But boxing, unfortunately, I'm probably guilty of it myself. I've done it as a fan, but I think there is just no pleasing a lot of people.
You mentioned earlier it's character building. Um, do you feel that you've very much been hardened by the experience and you've probably your skin's got a bit thicker and you've managed to learn and deal with a lot that some people don't go through?
Yeah, definitely. It's been tough. You know what I mean? I've not really spoke about it, but it's been tough the last 2.5 years. Like, there's been times where I've questioned myself and doubted myself, and I was at rock bottom, and I moved to my new team, and built myself back up from rock bottom, and I'm flying high at the moment. And as I said before, like, I'm full of confidence, and I have got that little chip on my shoulder where I'm thinking, fuck the rest of you, you know what I mean? Fuck them that didn't want to fight me on the show or didn't want to put me on these big shows. I'm going to show you what you've been missing out on. Because if they think I'm the same fighter I was 2.5 years ago when I lost to Tyler Denny, they're in for a shock. They're in for a big shock.
You mentioned, obviously, you changed teams. You moved up to relocate to Blackpool, gym up there, from Manchester, Ricky Hatton's gym with Blaine down there. Before that move, and you say obviously your confidence sort of come back again, things like that, you was at rock bottom. How close were you to ever walking away from the sport?
Me, well, like, this is it, mate. This is my life. This is all I've ever done since I was 7, 8 years old. I've never had any aspirations or whatever to do anything. Never wanted a job. Never wanted to, you know what I mean? Like, this is it. This is what I've wanted to do since I was a kid. And it wasn't walking away thinking, I don't enjoy it anymore because, like I say, this is all I've ever known. But there was times when I doubted myself. Am I good enough? You know what I mean? Am I good enough to get to where I need to be to make a living out of this career? Because it's hard, mate. Like, you can't make a living out of it fighting on smaller shows. It's just not sustainable. Like, you can't do it. And if I'm losing at English title level, am I good enough to get to where I can make a bit of money? And if I'm not, is it worth the effort? You know what I mean? Is it worth? Because it's so hard, mate. The training, you've got to sacrifice and give up so much. There was times where I questioned, like, if I'm not going to get to the top of this game, is it worth it? And look, there was a long time when I did doubt myself and I did question myself. But look, them times are behind me now. I'm not doubting myself anymore. Like I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I know how good I am and how good I can be and the level I can get to. And with me, this is why it's been a bit frustrating that I've not had the chance to show people. I've not had the look in because I do really believe now that I am good enough to get to that level. I am good enough to win titles, to make a decent few quid from this game, and which a lot of people don't. And yeah, look, my perspective just changed. Like I'm tunnel vision now, and as I say, I think it's just the confidence I do. I believe in myself. I believe how good I am. Like, don't get me wrong. I always believed in myself, but I believed that I was a certain level and I'd get to a certain level, and anything after that would be a bonus. Whereas now, like I do honestly believe like sky's the limit. I can just push on, and I just need that chance to show what I can do. And June the 28th is my chance now. I've finally got the fight I've been asking for, and it's a massive fight, massive platform on the zone, massive title. So, look, this is it now. This is a turning point for me.
You've said a couple of times you got a bit of a chip on your shoulder now, and you've got a point to prove to all these people who may have doubted you or who've overlooked you now. Does that bring added pressure, or is it just more motivation for you?
Just more motivation, mate. Like I don't, like I say, mate, I've been doing this a long time, and I don't really, I don't really feel pressure, mate. I love what I do. I love training. I love fighting, and I don't really get nervous for fights. I enjoy the moment, and like I say, it's just more motivation that I've got to push on, and I've got to try and prove to these people how good I am. And if you wrote me off after the loss, if you didn't want to know after the loss, then look, so be it. But I'll be expecting a few apologies or a few big ups after the fight.
How does that make you feel when it's like, it could be people you thought were friends, could be people within the boxing media circles, maybe the interviews may have dried up with certain people because you took that loss and you're back on the small hall shows. How does that make you feel towards those people going forward now? Is it
It is what it is, mate. Like, why would why would a YouTube channel make you be asked about me fighting some journeyman? Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's their job at the end of the day to get views and whatever, and they're not going to get any views on stuff like that. Like, I understand it all. I understand everyone's point of view. I understand the people who watch me get beat off Tyler Denny and go, "Oh, he's not what we thought he was. He's not as good as we thought he was." But fair enough. You know what I mean? Everyone's entitled to an opinion, but it's my job to prove them wrong and show them what I can do. Um, like I say, I'm not gonna sit here crying about how people have reacted or whatever. I just feel that after the 2.5 years that I've gone away. Like you say, small R shows. Everyone have boxed. I've 6-0 my new team. Everyone have boxed. It's hit the deck. I've had 5 knockouts on the bounce. Most of them first and second round. Like, what more do you want to get a chance? I don't know. I don't know what people want me to do. Maybe I should have had a few points wins and people would have wanted to fight me. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what it is. I've gone too far the other way. But yeah, mate, it is what it is. Like it says, it's all behind me now, and I've got the chance. So
This is it. Before I come on to that fight, June 20th, I just want one question on the Dos Santos, obviously cancellation on the day. What was that day like? It must have been an absolute whirlwind.
mate, I was lost for words. Like I couldn't. I just had to laugh, mate, or I would quite cry because I couldn't quite believe it had happened again. So close to the fight. Such that obviously took the fight such short notice, and for me, like it's shit out, Annie. Like there's no two ways around it. I think he was expecting a bit of an easier touch, short notice. I've rocked up 3 days' notice, telling him I'm going to chin him in a few rounds, and I've been training, I've been flying, and yeah, I've been waiting for this chance. It's you know what I mean. After it was a load of shit. I just took a fight on 3 days' notice. I was going for a fight. Fingers crossed it won't go in 12 rounds because I would have been blowing out my ass. But maybe I was bigging myself up a bit too much. But yeah, mate, I was just a little bit lost for words. Like, just I couldn't believe it, mate. I couldn't believe it had happened again. I really couldn't believe it had happened again. And when I took the fight and when I got down to London on fight week, I was a bit like, this is this is why that Saudi fight fell through. Like, this is the reason why. Like everything happens for a reason. I kept getting told everything happens for a reason, mate. And this was why that happened. This was the reason to take this fight on short notice. I stayed ready and to go and become European champion. And it just wasn't meant to be. The reason is obviously to take the fight in, pull out, me get a full camp to fight Peters for the European title, and then become European champion in Galway, which, it'll just be so much sweeter because of the two setbacks that I've had this year. It'll be so much sweeter when I win that title.
Definitely. Let's talk about that fight. Obviously, it was announced recently, but it's a fight that everybody's sort of known. It's been the worst kept secret, really, isn't it? Everyone knows it's going to happen eventually. And June 28th in Ireland. First of all, fighting in Ireland, nice fighting country.
Yeah,
Something, yeah.
all over that, mate. All over that. Look, I'm just gutted that I'm fighting and I'm going on the piss with the boys to come and watch. I wish I could go and watch myself because, it's going to be some weekend, I think. I'm taking it, mate. I've got people booking flights, booking hotels already. So, yeah, mate, we're going to take a fair few over. And, yeah, mate, I'm excited. Like, I've been over to boxing shows in Ireland before. Crowds are fucking mental, aren't they, mate? It's just different. So, look, I'm looking forward to the atmosphere. Open air show. It's just in summer open air show, and yeah, look, I can't wait, mate. I can't wait, really can't wait. And I think everyone else is booking flights and buying tickets to come and watch me. I think they can't wait as well.
What's that in your left hand, European title, right hand, pint of Guinness?
Yeah, mate, more than one pint of Guinness.
Obviously, Shaq Peters, we know him very well in the UK. For you, is that a fight you've always been eyeing up for a little while, or?
But you know what, mate? Like a lot of because I've not been a light heavyweight that long.
Hmm.
Like none of them are. I used to watch a lot of these fighters as a fan because I sit at home every week. Every time there's a boxing show on, mate, I'm sat at home watching it. I used to tune into these fighters and watch them as fans and enjoy watching the fights. I never used to think, oh, I'll be fighting him one day. But look, it is what it is, mate. I'm here now, and all them fighters that I used to watch are all competition. And mate, like you say, he's a good name, Shakan. He's been British champion, been in big fights. So, like, it's a fight that's gonna push me on, especially picking the title up. It's gonna push me on to get involved with the best in the division, and that's what I want. That's all I want at the end of the day. I want to test myself. I want to get in these big fights, and I want to get him in the big names. And this is the first step for me.
Obviously, you'll back yourself to beat Shakan. You'll back yourself to beat anybody you go in the ring with. And I know you're not a trash talker as such, not a disrespectful person, but do you rate Shakan Peters as a fighter?
I do, mate. I do. And look, mate, he's got a style which I've probably not had to deal with for a long time. You know what I mean? He's taller than me for one, which I've not boxed a fighter taller than me for don't know years, mate. Since I was about 15 or something. And like, I just see it as a new challenge that I've got to try and overcome. But you don't become British champion and you don't become mandatory to fight for the European title without being a good fighter. He is a very good fighter and I do rate him. And again, I feel like he's in a bit of a make or break position where, similar to me, he has to win. He has to win. And both of us are hungry. None of us, are prepared to lose. So I think it's going to make for a great fight.
You mentioned earlier you don't really feel pressure, but heading back onto, let's say, the big stage, obviously, you've been on small hall for the last few years, the last six fights, back on TV, big platform. Would it be any nerves?
No, me, because I feel like I'm made for them shows. That's where I belong. I don't belong on these small horse shows. Like, with all due respect, like, I've done my time on them small horse shows. I feel like I belong on them shows. That's where we should be fighting, and that's why it hurts so much, mate. Like, I feel like you say, when I'm sat at home on a weekend and I'm watching these shows, I feel like that should be me. Um, so, mate, I can't wait. I can't wait to be on them big shows again, back on TV, big production. Few like fireworks or something for me ring walk, and you know what I mean. We go all out, but no, mate, I feel like I'm excited to kind of be put back in that position, and not fight week. You get the few the little tingles in your belly. Everyone does, but like I thrive off that feeling. I think, and I can't wait to feel it again. Because I've not really had that, not fear factor, but you know that if you're not on your game, you could lose. Whereas have we had that over the past few years? Probably not. You know what I mean? Even if I'm not on my game, I would have been winning them fights. Um, so look, I'm looking forward to have that little feeling in my stomach where I know I've got to turn up.
Just finally, Brett, I know you're not going to look past Shakan or look to anyone else in the future, and you're not someone who's going to call people out, but I want to put forward a fight that I'd like to see you in, and that's
Hey, Louis Edmondson as the Taylor winner. I hope you are.
I wasn't.
No, well, you should.
Is that who you want?
I just think it makes sense, mate. Look, I would have the European title when I come through Pitters. The winner of that, British and Commonwealth, like, just makes sense. All the marbles. And there, look, I've just said I want big fights, big names, big titles. It's all free. But go on, who have you got for me? Shoot your shot.
Your Manchester Derby, City v United, Lyndon Arthur.
Look, mate, yeah. Look, I've said I'll fight anyone, mate. I said I'd fight anyone. And I got on with Lyndon. Me and Lyndon get on. But I'm at a point in my career, I've got to fight anyone, mate. I've got to fight anyone that's going to progress my career. Um, yeah, look, I have to. And I've never been in a fight in my life where I've had feelings towards anyone. I can very easily, that first bell rings round one and I flick the switch. And so, yeah, mate, look, that's a fight I'd be up for. But I'd be up for any other fight at the weight and division that they put towards me. But yeah, mate, got this job to do end of June first, and then we can look at what big fights there are to offer. But now you've said City United, mate, you've got me up for it a little bit.
The fight sells. He's a good lad, Lyndon, but the fight sells. I'm assuming being around Manchester, you've probably shared the ring with you. You
Yeah,
spot.
I've sparred with Lyndon quite a bit. Ate a few jobs over the years, mate, 100%. But like you say, mate, good lad, very good fighter. But they're the type of fights that I want to be in. They're the type of fights that I want to be in. And I feel like I've wasted a bit of time. I feel like I've wasted a bit of time in my career, and I can't afford to waste any more. I need to get cracking on. I need to get in these fights. So any of them, mate, any of them that they put towards me.
It's not a Derby, British title, Commonwealth title. Sounds good as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, mate. Either or, mate. I'm happy. I just want to get punched in the face and punch someone back. So yeah, mate. I'm excited to get in these fights, but I'm only going to get in these fights by winning this fight 28th of June, picking up that European title. I've got a bit of weight. I've got a bit of pull then, and people are going to want to come and fight me. I'm sure if you ask any of them names, if they want to win the European title, they'd happily. So yeah, mate, that's it. Get this job done, and then we can look on to bigger and better things. But by no means am I looking past Shakan Pitters, because it's a tough fight. It's the toughest fight of my career so far, 100%. And I'm focused on getting that job done.
Winning that title, that'll put a target on your back. Will you thrive off that?
Yeah, mate, let them put the target on my back, because none of them have had a target on my back for the past 2.5 years when I've been saying I'll fight anyone. You know what I mean? And yeah, look, let them start calling me out and shouting me out, because I'll say, well, yeah, you weren't, when I was saying I'll fight any light heavyweight in the country, you were quiet then. But yeah, look, that's what I want. I want a target on my back, because I'm going to fight then. I'm going to be active. I'm going to be on these big shows. The light heavyweights who are, I'm not signed to any promoters. The light heavyweights who are signed with these promoters call me out. Fine, you know what I mean? Let's go. I'm not asked being the away fighter. I'll go and fight on your show. And that's it. I'm getting on these big platforms again. That's all I want in big fights. So, yeah, look, nice big target on my back. Come and get it.
Absolutely. Brad, always a pleasure. Thank you for your time as always, mate.
Top man. Nice one, mate. Speak to you soon.
Yes, mate. Speak soon. Cheers, pal.